Somebody has to ask, so I will
Where are you
ask
going
about.
with this one?
No, just
Jeez.
Sean. Just, I mean, you lose a
What?
heart and
Oh,
soul guy
Sean.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's last drill in practice, and now we're without him for looks like a while here. So, you guys know how I use them, and the important situations that you've used them in, and how good their line's been for me for a lot of games here. So, big blow to us, but there's not much we can do about it. You got to move forward, and it's opportunity for some other centermen to fill those minutes.
In any year, you hate to lose a guy like that, but in this year with what he's done, especially over the last, 15, 20 games in terms of kind of carrying the load and that line carrying the load, that's a big blow.
Well, he does it all the time. It's not just the 15, 20 games. Yeah, it maybe statistically he's had a few more points, but he's a very consistent performer, and what you get from him, the intangibles, the stuff that people don't really talk about. He's very low maintenance. He gives max effort. He's physical. He's good in the faceoff circle. He's penalty kill. He can match him up against other top lines. Like, he can skate. So all those things are going to be missed, no question. So yeah, it's an opportunity for others, but he will be missed.
Lane Peterson then will go in for Corrali.
He will.
And the other lineup changes.
No, that's all the healthy bodies we got.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody's in.
And so Merzlikins, I know with the Korpisalo trade, pretty clear he's going to be your number one goaltender. Outside of the obvious of wins and consistency, what exactly are you looking for in these final 20 or so games from him?
Well, just continuing what he has done the last several weeks. I think he's found a rhythm to his game again. I think he looks more confident to me. He looks more like himself. And so we're going to need that and more here, with, again, you lose a guy like Sean, and you lose, we still have some injuries and just some very key guys. So your goaltending is your most important position, and then you work from there. So I believe he's found something, and, I just want him to continue to what he's found.
Peterson obviously hasn't had an extended look here yet, but you have had a chance at least one game, I think, to play him at center. Do you feel like, kind of like from what you know about his game, that he may fit pretty well on that line, with Robbie and?
He's only played 3 games, right? The first 2 were on the wing, and I don't think they were great games, even if you asked him. But I think there's he hadn't played in 3 weeks, new teammates, new system, all those things, right? And not much practice time because there was that 2-week leg period there before he got here. His best game was at center, and then he made the change, and we've been playing some good hockey. So he's been out for the right reasons, because our team has played better. Is that his position? I don't know yet. I can't say that. I think that was his best game. He'll get a look there again tonight at center, and I may mix and match with some lines. We'll see how that goes, but that's where he's going to start.
Wanted to ask about Sillinger as well. We've talked a lot this year about the lack in goals and all that stuff, but I'm kind of wondering on the other aspects of his game. I mean, has he, in your opinion, made some improvements and strides in other areas that are not goal scoring?
Yeah, I think from the moment, or the game since he had the 2 game of just viewing instead of playing, I think he's played better. I do, and sometimes it doesn't come in goals and assists, and the growth is going to look different for him this year. And we just did another video session with Bowler today, and it creates dialogue and interaction about where his game's at, and he's getting some looks. He looks more comfortable with the puck in the offensive zone. He's close, right? But you still got to make sure you take care of the other, and there's some areas there he can get better at. And he's a teenager. We just keep forgetting that patience. Everybody wants it fast forward. You can't. And this is, we may look back 3 or 4 years from now and go, this is the best thing that could have happened to this kid. And nobody wants to go through this, but it's how you handle it. I think Silly has handled it very, very well in a tough circumstance. And you learn a lot about a player when maybe he's not going well for a long stretch. He's a pro. He's still mature in that way. He's frustrated. He wants to do well because he cares. And how he's approached it, I think, has been really, really good. And again, I think down the road, this is going to be something that could be a good thing for him, even though nobody wants to go through it.
Just to follow up, you get into a season like that with a guy who's so young. one of the natural questions is going to be, well, would it be better for him to be at Cleveland and try and regain his confidence? But I mean, he's here for a reason. Obviously, you guys haven't done that, so the assumption is you feel it's better for him to just kind of go through these struggles and at the NHL level and just try and work them out here.
Yeah, and these discussions, it's more than just based on that. It's what's available. You got to understand that. I mean, we've had up to 12 guys out of our lineup, and so someone has to play, and so you always struggle with that. He's still a teenager. Where is he going to learn best? But in a perfect world, we're healthy all year. He's surrounded with more players. Maybe he's not having the year he's had. Like there's so many scenarios you could talk about. But I'll go back to this: how he's handled it, and the conversations we've had, the video sessions, the dialogue you have with him, how much he cares. He's done a tremendous job. And because it's hard, it's killing him, not to be able to produce. And he's getting closer and closer. And again, that's why I say down the road, this may serve him very well, because he's got a tremendous heart, and he wants to be a leader. He wants to do everything. And so it's a great question. Our circumstance has been different this year, and the number of guys have been out of our lineup, and who's available in position, and there's not a bunch of centermen just waiting to that are ripe, that are ready to come in too. So he's had to work through some things, and that's not a bad thing for him. It really is not.
So Oliver Bjorkstrand coming back to Nationwide Arena tonight. What is it about him that you remember from the time that you did have with him?
Oh, great kid. As far as he's a man of few words, and you guys laugh because you probably interviewed him, right? It's tough to get much out of him. But he is a real quiet competitor. I think, if you watch him all the way back, I remember watching when they won the Calder Cup, we were watching those games. Werenski was there, he'd come out of college, I was watching him, and he was a key guy. You'll watch him evolve as a player, his competitiveness, how he got pushed into those areas and how he responded. And obviously his shot is dangerous and lethal and all that, but he just grew up. I think he grew up as from a kid into a young man, and now I'm sure he's taken the step there in Seattle. Big change for him. You're in one organization, you go to a new place, new surroundings, new coach, new teammates. Those things take time, and people don't understand that, but it takes time. And I think he's settling nicely. I think their team, if you look at Seattle, they're very well balanced, and he's a very key part of that. So, I really enjoy my time coaching Oliver. He's zero maintenance. Loves to come to the rink, loves to play, loves to be competitive, and just a great person.
Brad, how much of a milepost is today? Once you passed it, it's kind of the last big milepost before the postseason begins.
Milepost.
Yeah, I mean, do you look at it that way or no?
Well, it's a big
you
day.
got what you got.
The deadline, yeah. You get through that, and then you know what your team's going to look like. So it's one of those days that can be anxious for some guys, and I think we've made some moves already. That doesn't mean we're done. You just never know. You never say never in this business when it comes down to it. So we'll get through 3 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, then you settle in, right? I think after tonight we got 20 left or whatever it is. So the focus will be on tonight. You get through tonight, and then worry about the next day when it comes, and you'll know your group for sure.
Does knowing your group over that final stretch, does that change anything? You just put your head down and keep going for the last
Well, do we
one?
know our group? I mean, we just lost Crowley for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's been one of those things all year. We haven't really seen our group, but we'll know who's going to be around. There's no more moves after this, and hopefully we can stay healthy.